Beautiful day in this neighborhood. Beautiful day in this neighborhood. Would you be could you be my neighbor? Good afternoon, neighbor. Today we'll be exploring the magical world of modernism. Are you ready to take this journey with me? Let's be on our way then.
By the 20th century, the world was in a swift forward motion. There was science, technology, inventions, and new discoveries that had already been found and would continue to develop. Electricity, combustion engines, automobiles, airplanes, incandescent light bulbs, radios, and X-rays were all modern aspects of this new, fast-paced world. The new ways of transportation and communication quickened the everyday lives of people.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I haver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's havering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm walking, yes, I know I'm gonna be.
Along with this new wave of science, technology, etc., modernists were overwhelmed by the presence of a new, urban, secular culture.
And for the work I do, I'll pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. And if I drove, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's going over you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walks.
Along with the many discoveries and innovations forming modernism were the philosophers and thinkers causing the modernists to explore things in a new way. F. H. Bradley's theory that an object in reality can have no absolute contours but varies from the angle from which it is seen is a clear influence for modernists. They moved away from realism and provided people with the opportunity to experience their artistic expression how they see, read, or hear it. Albert Einstein also helped shape modernism with his theory that states, "There is no such thing as universal time. Experience runs differently from man to man." Among the many inspirations to modernism is Sigmund Freud. Freud, like Bradley and Einstein, gave modernists a new way to think. He illustrated the importance of unconscious motivation in behavior. Freud encouraged people to expose the darker side of man. Modernists, in rebellion against tradition, began to challenge views and subject matter, explore sexuality, and expressing their viewpoints on all subjects, despite what the establishment may think.
It's so cheesy!
Artists, thinkers, architects, scientists, etc., rebelled against the establishment and rejected tradition. There were great amounts of tension between the modernists and the establishment as they worked to distance themselves as much as they could. Modernism also rejected realism and aspect of tradition. See it? The realism? Well, they rejected that. Modernists are willing to vandalize anything connected to tradition. Artists used expression and/or traditional techniques in a way that would infuriate people dedicated to tradition. Poets broke traditional meters, and composers violated the rules of harmony and so on. Prior to modernism, people stuck to the traditional ways set by establishment. It was a time of my way or the highway, but modernists did not see it that way. Modernists had a make-it-new mentality with a desire to create a revolutionary path, and that is exactly what they did. Modernism was a revolutionary movement. It changed the way people thought and the way people worked. From artists to architects, science to medicine, authors to playwrights, and so on. Modernism began to form right before the 20th century and ending in the 1960s. Modernism influenced postmodernism, influences us today, and will continue to influence us well into the future.
Well, I imagine you know more than you knew when you started out. Well, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Well, it's
a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pretty good education. I don't get any credit for. I don't get any college credit for what I did, but it's a pretty good education.
Well, not everything in life you get college credit for. We appreciate you.
Well, I hope I didn't ruin the film.
Oh, you didn't. You actually spiced it up. You kicked it up a notch. So that's perfect.